Colorado High School Activities Association football is on 1010 KSIR. Is on Morgan County's B106. I knew I'd get that wrong. It took 6 weeks. And more in B106.net, along with Brian Nickel and Kevin Rohde. I'm John Beltran. I was in a different mode there, gentlemen. All right, Kevin and Brian. Let's finish off the nickel package. We started off on Facebook Live. And then we had to go to the national anthem here. Number one, obviously, you've got to establish the running game, which the Mustangs have really not done consistently throughout the course of the season. Let's get to the other four key elements here with your nickel package.
Second one I got is cut down on penalties. They had 7 for 62 yards last week. And even against, not the quality of team that Meade is, you still got to cut down on it, get better as the year goes on. They got to put pressure on their quarterback. He's had 6 touchdowns, but he's also thrown 9 interceptions. So they need to get the pressure on him, see if they can get some turnovers. Number 4, I got put Trey to work. He's ready to play, so we'll see how they use him tonight offensively, defensively, special teams, but put Trey to work and see what happens. And then my 5th one is get up on him early. Don't let him hang around. If it was me, I'd take the opening kickoff, try to drive it down the field, get up 7 points on him, and try to take their emotions out of it.
Right, because when you're on the road, you're the favored team, so to speak, the better record. It's always to the advantage of the underdog when the game stays tight. The later the game goes on, so no doubt about that. That's Brian Nichols' nickel package. The Mustangs are coached by Harrison Chisholm, assisted by Greg Edson, Josh Langford, Jeff Peterson, Jim Kreckemeyer, Ian Moreno, Tyrone Ortiz, Seth Wolf, Chris Cobley, TJ Schneider, Andy Schoen, and Kyle Grawlis dressed in their road whites. And Centaurus in their royal blues with the red numerals are coached by Bob Karski, assisted by Evan Creer, Dave Vermillion, Andy Hampton, Doug Kinney, Patrick Evavard, Cisco Gonzalez, Cody Hubner, Derek Wetzel, Arturo Mata, and Craig Patterson. Opening kickoff tonight here live from Centaurus High School, where Skyline and Monarch played last night, is brought to you by Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance. Looking to find insurance for your car, home, or even for you? Call Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance with locations in Brush and Fort Morgan. They can help you with their home, car, health, or life insurance questions or provide a quote. That is Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance. Yeah, this is the beginning to the second half of the season. Kevin, I sense good things ahead considering how healthy the Mustangs are, the healthiest they've been since week 1.
Yeah, the only real starter that we see on the side is Sterling Sharp. Even J.P. Hamer was out running around looking pretty spry. So it's a big start. And following up on Brian's comment about finishing, Centaurus, it's a brand new season for them too as we get into the new league play. And it's their homecoming, so I agree we're going to have to hold them down and put them away because that emotion can always come into play later on.
That's for sure.
Well, and normally when you come out with emotion, that's where you get off to your better starts. Right. And then it wears off as the game progresses. And let's see, the Mustangs, as you mentioned, as both of you mentioned, can completely deplete that emotion. But Centaurus is going to receive the opening kickoff from Jose Jimenez. You can follow us on Twitter at B106 and our B106 Facebook page as well. Only one more road game remaining for the Mustangs after tonight in the regular season, 2 weeks from today in Loveland against Thompson Valley. And the Mustangs, their 3 previous opponents had a record of 14-1. They have 3 of their next 5 opponents that have a combined record of 1-14. That's 0-5 Centaurus, 0-5 Thompson Valley, and 1-4 Northridge. Now they do face a very good Silver Creek team, which beat Northridge last night 44-7. That'll be in Fort Morgan, and Silver Creek is 4-2. Then you do have to contend with Longmont, which came off probably the most shocking victory, despite the fact that Holy Family quarterback Stone Samaras was hurt. But still, to beat Holy Family 39-3, like they did last week, was pretty significant.
Yeah, that was the second number 1 team in the state that Longmont's beat this year. Started off the year with beating Pueblo East.
Jimenez to kick it off. The deep man is only standing at around the 9-yard line. This will be a pooch, a very short kick, fielded at the 31 and caught over there, and then take it down at the 33. Let's see, over there for Centaurus was Jason Tran. The tackle was made by Connor Fajardo. So on this turf field, Centaurus will set up 1st and 10 at their own 33. Nick Faraka is the quarterback. He's a sophomore at 5'11", 165. And as Brian mentioned, he does make a share of mistakes. 2 receivers split to the left and right. And now a late entry there. And Anthony Montoya on 1st and 10. Out of the gun, naked backfield, back to throw Faraka, pressure coming, throws out to his right. The pass is caught underneath, breaking out of a tackle across the 35 to about the 37. Was the ball fumbled out there? There was a scramble. Pick up a 4. Let's see who made that catch out there. And boy, they're back up to the line of scrimmage.
And I noticed that Trey is not playing defense, at least to start the game. So maybe they're going to reserve the kid coming off of injury just for offense.
Gain of 5. It'll be 2nd down and 5 again. Now 1 setback, and they're resetting, and now there's a flag down. Did we catch that receiver? Boy, I was tearing down a number again. These are darker numbers, and that's what happened. You can see contrast, but when you have red numerals and royal blue jerseys, the contrast is really not there.
Right.
We'll just credit it to Andy Mendoza for now, unofficially. So now it's 2nd down and 10 after the false start. Rolling to his right is Faraka, setting deep up the right side. Receivers out there, incomplete. It was overthrown, defended by Grayson Garver, but the receiver had a step along the 35-yard line into Mustang territory. It'll be 3rd down and 10 to go for Centaurus, and they like to really throw the football. Their running game is very limited.
Yeah, Dylan McBride was right in his face on that one. If he wouldn't have got rid of it, he'd have been on the ground.
And that was intended over there, I believe, for Anthony Montoya. Trips to the right, 1 receiver to the left. 3rd and 10 from their own 33. Oh. And again, now a lineman fell back. I think he was just trying to reestablish his balance. That would be on the left side. So that's 2 penalties for 10 yards already.
He just kind of rocked back, lost his balance.
That was a left tackle there. 3rd down and 15 from their own 28. Again, 2-step drop. Faraka deep up the left side. That's going to be incomplete. And, boy, a great job by Donovan Moya all over the receiver there, Andy Mendoza. It'll be 4th down and 10. And already 3 pass attempts for Faraka, but they went 5 yards backwards for the original line of scrimmage. Now let's see who's going to punt there. And boy, then that's nearly blocked, a heavy rush. And it's going to be fielded at the 29 by Moya, running to his right to the 35. And he's tackled at about the 37. Nice open field tackle, return of 8 yards. Tackle was made over there by, it says 66, who we don't have on the roster, unless that was A.J. Korn. Nonetheless, the Mustangs have the football, 1st and 10 at their own 38-yard line. And again, it's the return of Trey McBride. Out of the pistol, 1 setback. Actually, now they're in an I on 1st and 10. And there's the give up the left side. That might be the fullback Hokenettle. Across the 40 to the 41. Punched in tight. It's a gain of about 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7, middle of that defensive line for Centaurus there to make the play.
Like Harrison Chisholm said in his interview, sometimes you have to take what they're giving you. Right now, they're giving you the pass. They're single coverage out on our wides, both Trey and Grayson on the other side.
Garver's the receiver to the left. Hokenettle, the lone setback, trips to the right. 2nd down and 7. Fort Morgan at their own 41. Linker rolling to his right, throwing to his right, complete now, dropped. Dropped by Andrew Monroe, and he had the ball in his grasp, but then looked at the defender, Asher Cook, a 6'1", 190-pound junior linebacker, and simply dropped the ball. It'll be 3rd down and 7 to go for Fort Morgan.
Kind of mistakes you can't afford. He was pretty much on his own out there on the right side.
10-10 to go in the opening quarter. Centaurus went 3 and out in their first drive. McBride is the receiver to the right, backs in an eye, Linker under center. He'll hand it off right up the gut, and virtually nothing, but then driving his way for about 3 yards to the 44-yard line is John Hokenettle. It'll be 4th down and 6, and I guess when you're becoming healthy like Fort Morgan is, you're still going to have growing pains, and that was the case right there on that offensive series.
Right, the offensive line is still not making the physical contact and moving the line of scrimmage down the field. And I'm guessing on the second turn it downs, Fort Morgan's going to return a little bit more to the passing game.
Garcia standing at his own 30. High snap. Here comes the rush. He gets it off a low line drive. Ball is barely turning over. It takes a side roll inside the 35 towards the 30. And that's where Centaurus will set up a punt of only 26 yards. So both teams went 3 and out. Now let's see what the Mustang defense can do, because, we've seen in years past that the Mustang defense establishes momentum for the offense.
It's like that brush game.
That's what happens, special teams and defense. Trips to the right for Centaurus. Out of the gun, 1st and 10 from their own 30. Faraka, one-step drop, throws out to his right. The pass is caught underneath. The tackle's made over there by Grayson Garber. Pass caught at the 35-yard line for a gain of 5. Andy Mendoza makes the catch. It'll be 2nd down. Oh, it's almost 4 yards to go. They nearly gave him the 36 there. Faraka's 2 out of 4 for 11 yards. Trips to the left this time. 2nd down and 4 from the 36. And now, Centaurus, another illegal procedure, and they're getting very sloppy. And this might be the reason that they're 0-5, because you look at the offensive set, looked like they spread it out pretty well. But, that's 3 penalties for 15 yards in the early going.
The penalties kill drives.
2nd down, back to throw. Faraka slants over the middle. The pass is complete across the 40 to the 46. That's a gain of 15 and a 1st down.
On that one, they faked the bubble screen that they ran earlier on the first play of the game, and Fort Morgan bid on the fake and left some guys open downfield.
That catch was made by Pedro Medino. Again, out of the gun. That pass to his left, caught by Medino again inside the 50 to the 46. That's a gain of 8. Garcia makes the tackle. And they're not wasting any time at the line of scrimmage. And Faraka is now 4 out of 6 for 34 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 2 for the Mustang 46. No score. We've got 8:15 to go, and the clock is running here in the opening quarter from Lafayette. 3 receivers out to the right, 2 to the left. Motion to the right. Faraka throws it out in the right flat. Pass is caught underneath. It's a 1st down inside the 45 to the 40. It's a gain of 6. The pass was caught in that flat out there by whoever 22 is. That's the other thing out here, is that I was waiting 4 days for a roster, and they sent me the away roster, and they're the home team. So we have numbers that are mismatched here. 1st and 10. Out of the gun. There's the handoff. Right up the gut. A big hole across the 35. Still on his feet. Inside the 30 to the 25. That's a gain of about 15 yards. Let's see who had the football there. Again, the numbers very challenging to see.
And there's that momentum and that early emotion on a homecoming night that Centaurus is exhibiting right now.
That's Elijah Silver on the carry from the 25. This time out of the pistol. Handoff to Silver off left tackle, and he drives his way inside the 25 to the 21. It's a gain of 4. And again, that's what I'm seeing, a number 10 out there, which would be Silver.
And Chisholm joked about...
That's 16, actually, yeah. But again, well, we'll call it Silver for now. Again, they're kind of mismatched there. 2nd down and 5 from the 20. Fade up the left side. The pass is incomplete. Boy, that was close. In the end zone, defended by Donovan Moya and intended for Mendoza.
Right off his hand.
Yep. Yeah, he takes just a half a foot off that ball, and there's a touchdown for the Warriors.
It'll be 3rd down, and we'll call it about 6 to go, actually, from the Mustang 21. Centaurus with the early threat in this game. Naked backfield. 5 yards behind center. Faraka waiting the snap. Man in motion to the right. Stutter step. He'll take off with the football. 1st down to the 10. Up the left side to the 5. Faraka and fumbles the ball, recovered by the Mustangs at the 2, but they're going to say he was down. They're going to say his knee was down and Garcia had recovered it, but instead for Faraka, it's a gain of 19. 1st and goal for Centaurus.
That was wide open. He just quarterback draw off to the left side, and it was open.
Yeah, and it wasn't much of a draw. He just waited for a split second. 1st and goal. There's the handoff right back up the middle and maybe a yard.
It's a classic example of, the pass setting up the run. They started getting that short passing game going, and then we're all worried about that. And next thing you know, the run's wide open.
That might be Fontes there. I might have to see your other roster there, Brian, because these numbers are totally mismatched. 2nd and goal for the 1. Handoff left side, runs into a blocker, and is going to fall short of the end zone. That might be the same man. Gerardo Miranda made the tackle. And that time, it's Jackson Sniff. He had the previous carry as well. Sniff. So now it's 3rd and goal for the 1. 6 minutes to go in the opening quarter. 2 in the backfield. Direct snap to Faraka. Handoff up the middle and into the end zone for a touchdown. Let's see if that was Sniff. Nope. Nonetheless, they score regardless of who the ball carrier was. And it's now 6-0 in favor of Centaurus. On the 1-yard run. Again, we'll call it Jackson Sniff. But man, these are dark numbers. Now the extra point to be attempted by Nick Gomez. And now we had movement. Let's see if that was against.
Offsides, Fort Morgan.
Yeah, it did look like the Mustangs moved initially. Well, one of the keys already gone. One of your nickel package elements there, Brian, because it's they jumped out on Morgan just like that. The extra point is a line drive, and that's way off to the left. We have 5:57 to go. First quarter, the score, Centaurus 6, Fort Morgan nothing on Morgan County's B106 and B106.net. All right, the Mustangs trail 6-0. Jackson Sniff with a 1-yard run. That's the unofficial ball carrier again. Not as easy to see the numbers here. I'll have to get a different angle. And pretty impressive drive, Brian. I mean, they went, 11 plays and 70 yards to get into the end zone. They made a Mustang defense with a lot of talent look pretty ordinary.
Yeah, they just kind of ran right through them. The Mustangs were playing back for the pass defense, but it was open for the run.
All right, Gomez to kick it off. That's a short kick, fielded at the 11, running along the sideline to the 20 with some daylight to the 30, and still on his feet down at about the 35, 36-yard line is David Sarinana. Let's see how much they give him. A return of about 25 yards. And Kevin, I think the Mustangs are a little bit shocked based on the fact that Centaurus took it right down the pike there.
Well, and especially that they stopped and forced a 3 and out against Fort Morgan with a lot of health and a lot of good players back.
1st and 10 for the Mustangs at their own 37-yard line. Out of the pistol, Linker rolls out to his right, still rolling, throws, and the pass is caught. That's going to be a first down or close to it for Trey McBride. Welcome back for McBride at about the 46, 47-yard line. Very close. We'll call it a gain of 9.
You have a sneaking suspicion that you're going to be calling that number a lot tonight.
Well, just sit in the slot. That's what Trey did there. 2nd down and 1 to go from the 46. Linker, quarterback keeper, first down, right up the gut to the 49. It's a gain of 3. Before the hit was made over there by Joe Ostrowski, a 5'9", making a 6', 215-pound senior, but Garber, check that, Linker picks up the first down for the Mustangs at their own 49, trailing 6-0. 5 minutes to go here in the opening quarter. Isaac Linker is out of the pistol. The lone setback Hokaneto is going to roll to his left this time. Pressure coming, throwing on the run. Pass is intercepted. Nope. Incomplete. It was broken up and almost picked off over there by Anthony Montoya. It'll be 2nd down, but, that's the one thing. He threw into traffic, and Isaac loves throwing on the run. He rarely throws with his feet set, and sometimes that can bite you if you have too much traffic in the area you're throwing to.
Especially if you're rolling to your left, it's much more unnatural to throw that way.
trips to the left out of the pistol. 2nd down and 10. Mustangs at their own 49. Linker's going to roll to his left again, throw underneath. That pass is caught. Nice pass. It's caught by, but he cannot break out of a tackle. He's down after a short gain. Into Centaurus territory. They'll give him the 47.5. Let's see if they'll give him as much as the 47, but it's a gain of, close to 4. It'll be 3rd down and 6 to go for the Mustangs.
The critical 3rd down at this juncture of the game. Down 1 score already.
3rd down and 6, Fort Morgan at the Centaurus 47-yard line. Out of the pistol, Linker rolls to his right. Pressure backside. You got to keep running. If not, he's going to get hit. He takes off with the football to the 45, and he runs into a defender. 1st down at the 40. There is a flag down along the far sideline in front of the Fort Morgan bench. It would be a gain of 7. Let's see if that will count, or will it be nullified?
Yeah, they cross the field away from the play. It looked like they're pointing maybe towards Centaurus, maybe.
It's in the area where they might call a hold.
Yeah, again, the flag is resting at the 39-yard line. It is defensive holding. That is going to be added to the end of the run. So that's going to be a 10, which you rarely see unless it's a personal foul.
Right.
That's odd.
1st and 10 for the Mustangs at the Centaurus 30. Down 6-0, 4:09 to go first quarter. A 1-yard run by Jackson Sniff. Got Centaurus on the board. The receiver to the left is Garcia. Trey McBride to the right. The backs are in an eye. Ortega's the D-back. Hocanetto's got it. Running off right guard. And he backs his way inside the 30 to the 26. I mean, he had very little there. But he used his power running to gain 4 yards. 2nd down and 6. And that was a lot of the fullback there with some blocking.
Yeah, not a lot up there. He's creating a lot of yards on his own and getting a push from that offensive line once he gets in front of him.
3 carries for 10 yards for Hocanetto. Same formation. 2nd down and 6 from the 26. Linker under center. Hands off to Ortega off left tackle, and he's down after a gain of 1. Boy, there was 1 Warrior there and 1 Warrior to make the play. It'll be 3rd down and 5 to go.
I think we're probably in 4-down territory, not quite close enough to put Jose out there to kick a long field goal.
Mac Post, the linebacker, a senior, made the tackle there for Centaurus. 3rd and 5 from the 25. Backs in an eye. Linker under center. Blitz is coming. Rolling to his right. He's got to get rid of it. Does along the sideline. Complete. And that's a 1st down to about the 16-yard line, maybe the 14 now. Trey McBride makes the catch. That was an impressive throw and a gain of 11.
Yeah, he went downfield and they just made an outcut there and in front of the defender, and he's so big that our defender wasn't going to be able to get around him and try to deflect that pass at all.
Right, and that goes back to Chisholm's interview 2 weeks ago where he talked about Linker learning to be patient.
1st and 10, handoff Ortega back to the inside of the 10-yard line. Then he gets stripped and the ball is loose, and Centaurus, I believe, has got it at about the 11 as Ortega was stripped, and they do have the football. Ortega fumbles, and the Warriors have the ball at about their own 11-yard line.
One thing they can't do, they're behind, and now they're getting turnover.
Right, they are on the penalty key. They are playing penalty free, which is good, but boy, a turnover after that nice of a drive and finally some momentum.
Centaurus has 4 penalties for 25 yards. The Mustangs don't have a penalty, but right there, that's a huge mistake. And now it's 1st and 10 Centaurus at their own 11, leading 6-0 in the waning minutes of the opening quarter. Lining up on the right hash mark. 2 receivers to the right and trips to the left. Faraka, 3-step drop, pressure coming, and he's sacked. And there's a flag down. He's sacked back at around the 2, and it looked like John Hocanetto got in there and threw him down to the ground. But as he was being sacked, the flags went down. Now let's see what happened here.
Face mask?
Yeah, that's the only thing it could be. But it looks like a 5-yard face mask. Well, but why is the ball there? They're it's a spot foul. spot foul, so still call that a loss of about 8.
We'll take that.
Now it'll be first down at about 12. Deep drop, setting up a screen to the left. It's caught underneath, but Moya is right there along with several other Mustangs to make the hit. After a gain of probably nothing there. And again, we're seeing numbers that don't match the roster. Nonetheless, that was his 10th pass attempt already. For no gain, it'll be second down and 13. And again, looking over towards the sideline for play instructions. Need a new windshield, want to spray on bedliner or truck accessories, Smart Parts, 375 Charmony Frontage Road in Sterling. Again, out of the gun, setting up a screen to the left, and the pass is going to be incomplete. Boy, Miranda nearly with a pass interference there. He was all over the tight end. Asher Cook at 6'1", 190.
On a screen like that, if it's behind the line
Right.
of scrimmage,
That's why.
You get away with that.
Exactly.
And
That's
boy,
it.
the Fort Morgan Mustangs had that diagnosed.
Yeah, had that been beyond the 8-yard line, that might have been pass interference, but it was at about the 6 or 7 where the pass was thrown, or where the pass was about to be received. Third down off the incompletion, and 13 from their own 8-yard line. And again, 4 yards behind center. Faraka in the end zone is pressured. He's sacked, fumble, touchdown. The Mustangs fall on it. Jimmy Keller was right around the football, but it's Bobby Tolson who came away with a football for the Mustang touchdown on the strip sack in the end zone, and the Mustangs have tied the game at 6.
Yeah, he had pressure on him. There was he didn't even have time to breathe. He dropped back, and the Mustangs were right on him and knocked the ball loose.
And that's where we talked earlier. The defense had to come up with something that would change that momentum, and boy, that changed the momentum in a big hurry. What a great stand.
Now the extra point to be attempted by Adam Cardona, the sophomore. The snap is a little bit low. The kick is up, and that kick is no good. It's off to the right. 1:35 to go in the opening quarter. The score, it's Fort Morgan 6, Centaurus 6 on Morgan County's B106 and B106.net. The Mustangs with a strip sack, and then the fumble recovery by Bobby Tolson in the end zone. The PAT, though, was no good. And the Mustangs have tied the game at 6 here in Lafayette. And to kick it off will be Jose Jimenez.
They're playing these guys up close. I'm not sure why they're pooch kicking it unless they're afraid of their return man.
Oh, here we go. This is another high, short kick. It'll be fielded at the 24 along the left side and down at the 28. Cardona was there around the play. Return of 4 yards. Well, let's see, the Mustang defense can do something and make an adjustment and be able to stop this team. 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line. They took it 70 yards in their most recent possession. Just a little bit further away now. Naked backfield. Man in motion. That is Mendoza throwing out the slant, is incomplete. Keller was around the football along with Donovan Moya, intended for Pedro Medino. It'll be second down and 10.
And the ball was there, it was right in his hands.
Oh, yeah, it was a good throw.
Yep.
Yeah, if you're a Centaurus fan, that's a catch that he has to make if they're going to have a chance to beat a good Fort Morgan team.
Well, at some point, there's going to be a pick six here. Lots of passes being thrown. Trips to the right. One-step drop. Throwing out to the left. Tipped incomplete. Incomplete. It was off the left hand of the receiver, Andy Mendoza. 3rd down and 10. And Faraka has already attempted 13 passes in the game. And he's completed 6 for 69 yards.
And they completely went away from the running game, which basically gave them that last touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, Jackson Sniff had a couple of decent carries there in that running game. Trips to the right on 3rd and 10 for the 29. And there's the draw play, running to the 30, back to the middle to the 34, maybe the 35. That's a gain of about 5 or 6. And again, it's our guess who's got the ball. I mean, amazing. Amazing what we got today. An away roster for a home game, but it's all right. 3rd down and 4. Heavy rush is coming, and McBride is going to rough the punter as he ran into him. Then the ball's off the leg of Garcia as he fields it at the 30, and then he's down at the 31. But it's a roughing the punter, and that's going to give Centaurus a 1st down. I don't think it's even running into. Yeah, it's a personal foul. I don't know how he didn't block that punt.
Yeah, I don't either. Must have been right through his hands or something.
Yep, so Centaurus is going to retain possession. He should have blocked that easily. I mean, he was right there, but you know what? I can tell you why he didn't block it. He got too close to the body and not close enough to the foot.
Right.
So, you know, he runs right into the body, and the foot is well extended by that point, and that's why he couldn't block it, and Centaurus retains possession with 53.8 seconds to go in the opening quarter.
You're absolutely right. As a coach, that's what you teach them is as they come from the side, go to where the ball is going to be punted, not to where the punter is at the time. And he did go too deep on that.
That's apparently a spot foul also from where he was hit.
1st and 10 at their own 44. 5 yards behind center. Deep drop here. The pass out towards the middle is incomplete, underthrown. And we got to watch out there for almost a late hit on the pass that was underthrown on the slant to Andy Mendoza. Man, he's on pace to attempt anywhere from 55 to 60 passes because we're still in the 1st quarter. He's attempted 14. And we're talking about Nick Faraka.
He's attempted 204 so far this year.
Man in motion to the right. Here's the option, but he'll take off with the football right up the middle into Mustang territory across the 50 to the 48. It's a gain of 8 for Faraka. And a tackle was made by Isaac Linker. But again, yeah, why don't they run the football a little bit more?
Right. Certainly having more success with that.
It'll be 3rd down and 2 from the 48-yard line. Again, awaiting the direct snap is Faraka. 15 seconds to go in the opening quarter. Trips to the right. Faraka, handoff, middle. 1st down. That might be Silver to about the 45. It's a gain of 3. And that will end the 1st quarter with a score. Fort Morgan 6, Centaurus 6. Well, let's see. Are they going to run another play that quickly? Let's keep it right here. I mean, I find it hard to believe they're going to run another play, and they will not. At the end of the opening quarter, Fort Morgan 6, Centaurus 6 on Morgan County's B106 and B106.net. Let's begin the 2nd quarter with the Mustangs and Centaurus Warriors here in Lafayette are deadlocked at 6. And Centaurus has the football. John Beltran with Brian Nickel and Kevin Rohde. 1st and 10 for the Mustang 45. 2-step drop deep up the left side with a pass, and it's going to be caught inside the 20. Right down at the 20 was the left knee of Anthony Montoya. It's a gain of 25 yards, and that's the biggest pass play of the game for the Warriors.
Yeah, but step there behind the defender over there and laid it right in there.
1st and 10 for the Mustang 20. Trips to the right. Rolling to the right is Faraka. Pressure coming, throwing underneath. That's caught along the sideline. Inside the 15 to about the 14 maybe. The gain of about 6. Taylor Herbstreet, according to this roster, we don't know if that's completely accurate, made the catch. When Faraka is getting going, he threw for 69 yards in the opening quarter. 2nd down and 4 from the 14. Trips to the left, out of the pistol. There's the handoff. Stutter stepping back to the middle to the 11 for a gain of 3.
Mustangs had him in the backfield.
That was Silver.
Fight through it.
Well, they're going to backtrack the football to the 12, it looks like. It'll be 3rd down and a short 2, we'll call it. Just inside the Mustang 12. Centaurus looking to reclaim the lead here in the early moments of the 2nd quarter. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, 1 setback. Back to throw. Faraka to his right. Pass is caught at the 2. Touchdown. It's 12 yards away. It's a touchdown for the Warriors. They're second of the game, and they now lead 12-6. And it looks like that was caught by Andy Mendoza, and it was. He's a 5'10", 155-pound junior.
Yeah, you ran it down there at about the 2, made a little turn around there in front of Garber, caught it, and then was tackled into the end zone.
Gomez to attempt the extra point. Off the hold of the touchdown maker. That one is up, and that's good. 10:51 remaining, second quarter. Centaurus looking for its first win of the year. Leads Fort Morgan 13-6 on Morgan County's B106 and B106.net. Centaurus with a 13-6 lead. This one is squibbed right into the ground, fielded at the 20. Garcia along the left side of the 25, stutter stepping and jitterbugging back to the middle. Then he's going to be driven back at about the 29-yard line. Centaurus just went down the field again, Brian.
Yeah, they just marched right down the field, but combination of passing and running both. It was seemed like they can do about anything they want against this Mustang defense, which is surprising me right now anyway.
But that was set up by a special teams mistake, a roughing the punter. 12-yard pass from Nick Faraka to Andy Mendoza, and they've got the touchdown lead. The Mustangs first and 10 at their 29. Trips to the right. Linker's going to roll to his right. Throw. The pass is incomplete off the left hand of Garcia. It'll be second down and 10. Linker is now 3 out of 6 for 24 yards. And as much as we hate to say it, Fort Morgan right now is being outplayed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I thought this was a game we were going to be able to get the running game back on track, and so far that hasn't happened.
Second down and 10 for Fort Morgan at their own 29-yard line. Out of the pistol, Hokenetto's the lone setback. Trips to the right. Linker rolls out that way. Pressure coming. Good block by Hokenetto. Throws deep up the middle. It's incomplete.
Almost intercepted it off the hands of, what is that, Garber?
Yeah, Luis Garcia actually
Luis
at the 45-yard line, and also near the football was Monroe. They ran in the same area towards the right side as opposed to the middle. It'll be third down and 10 to go for Fort Morgan.
I'm sure on that play, just like the previous one, you don't want two guys in the exact same area, and they were a little too close for my comfort.
Centaurus has scored an average of 11 points a game. They've already exceeded that. Trips to the right. Third down and 10. Linker rolling to his right. Throwing off his back foot. That's incomplete. Boy, a diving attempt out there at the 46-yard line by Andrew Monroe in Centaurus territory, but it was way too strong, and it's fourth down. And, I mean, one thing is obvious. We're in the game 6 of the season. The Mustang passing attack primarily goes to the right. There's rarely a throw out of the pocket. We know that already. I know it's by design. The strength runs that way for Fort Morgan, but it's not working tonight. Linker's only 3 out of 8 for 24 yards. Garcia to punt. They've got 10 men up on the line of scrimmage. High snap. Here comes the pressure. He gets it off. That's a gorgeous punt. It's going to land at the 37-yard line. It takes a Mustang roll, fielded at the 28, and then down at the 29. And, boy, it looked like Mendoza fumbled the ball, but they said his knee was down. Did we have a flag back there?
Oh, yeah.
They should be roughing the kicker.
Should be a return in favor.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. Roughing the punter against Centaurus. I'm telling you, they have a shot to upset Fort Morgan if they don't make these mistakes, because they have a myriad of penalties so far in the first 14 minutes of the game, and they still lead 13-6.
Yeah, it's a lot different game than I thought it was going to be. Just, of course, just going by what the records show, so that's why you play the game.
Well, again, this is a new Fort Morgan team. We haven't seen the team this healthy since week 1. So some of these players are rusty. There's no doubt about it. So patience is certainly required. First and 10 out of the pistol. Trips to the right for the 44. Linker rolls that way. Throws complete to Garcia. Breaks out of a tackle. First down. He drives inside the 45 to the 43. And that's a gain of 13 yards on the pass from Linker to Luis Garcia, his first reception of the game. They need a lot more of those, gentlemen.
And before he was trying to throw it maybe 15, 20 yards down the field, and maybe we need to stick with the 5-6 yard pass and let the receiver maybe get the first down on the carry.
Well, when you're throwing on the run, it's very difficult to be accurate when you're throwing it 20 to 25 yards downfield. That's a perfect pass right there out of the pistol. Linker rolling to his left, pressure coming, throws underneath, caught by McBride, but he's going to get stacked up, and he still drives to the 40. Any normal human being would have been down after no gain. Instead, McBride got 3 as he was wrestled down by a couple of Centaurus Warriors, including Zach Hyman, a 5'9", 195-pound senior. 2nd down and 7 to go for the Mustangs.
He just kind of stiff-armed that one kid, but then the rest of the defense showed up, take him down.
This could be an opportunity to run the football. Hocanedo, the lone setback, trips to the left. 2nd down and 7 from the 40. Centaurus leads 13-6 in the early moments of the second quarter. Handoff Hocanedo up the middle, and he drives inside the 35 to the 34. Again, he carried defenders for a gain of 6, setting up a 3rd down and 1.
Yeah, nice hard run there.
Well, I think he'll probably do it again.
Or possibly the quarterback sneak if he comes up under center.
Yeah, Linker's done that already in this game, and he is under center. Let's see if that's exactly what he'll do. You got it, Kevin. Right up the gut, 1st down to the 32 for a gain of 2. Brought down by Timothy DiSabato, a 5'9", 185-pound junior. But again, Linker with 2 yards. Moves the sticks for the Mustangs at the 32-yard line. Approaching the 8.5-minute mark of the second, down 13-6. Jackson Sniff with a 1-yard touchdown run, a 12-yard pass from Faraka to Andy Mendoza. The Mustangs have a fumble recovery in the end zone off the strip sack, and the fumble recovery by Bobby Tolson. 1st and 10 for the Centaurus 32. Under center is Linker. Handoff right side. That's J.P. Hamer. He's got a seam to the 20. Hamer still on his feet, nearly stripped.
Dropped the ball.
And he did get stripped, I believe, right there at the 16-yard line. And let's see who's got the ball. Nope, it's going to be Fort Morgan ball. But
wow.
Man, they've got to be able to peripherally know when there's defenders around them. Hamer with an excellent run of 16 yards, but it caught him by surprise that he was even being contacted.
Right.
Yeah, I could see that ball. He kind of, once he was running there and got contacted that first time, the ball, you could see the ball come loose. And luckily, they fell on it.
Yeah, Ortega already fumbled for Fort Morgan earlier in the game. And that was at the Centaurus 11. 1st and 10 for the Mustangs at the 16-yard line of the Warriors. The backs are split this time. Linker's under center. And Linker up the middle to Hocanedo. He drives inside the 15 towards the 10. John Hocanedo, he's a tank to bring down. And he's able to gain 6 yards. 2nd down and 4. And I think Centaurus called a timeout, and they did. We'll keep it right here. Keep in mind that the first Mustang touchdown tonight was brought to you by Cargill Meat Solutions, committed to feeding the world in a responsible way by reducing environmental impact and improving products and processes. Learn about Cargill's story of commitment at cargill.com. At halftime, if you're listening live as opposed to the replay, we'll have the segment This Day in Mustang Football History, where Brian Nichols' oldest son, Eric Nichols, was involved in a critical game back in 2000 against Windsor. I'm glad I mentioned the year just to age Brian a little bit more.
Thank you.
And myself and Kevin, actually. Kevin, it was established 3 weeks ago, the lone coffee drinker on this set.
Yep.
On this panel. All right, here we go. 2nd down and 4 to go for Fort Morgan at the Centaurus 10-yard line. Backs are split. Handoff. Hamer takes it to the outside. 1st down to the 5, and then he slams into a defender, and then another one had to take him down. Boy, Hamer really found that seam on the outside at about the 4. Let's see if they give him the 3. But J.P. Hamer, he was able to read it pretty nicely and swing it to the outside. Man, to the 2. It's a gain of 8.
Yep, 1st and goal.
somebody they've missed out of the lineup for the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yep. Narvaez and Hokenetto in the backfield. 1st and goal from the 2. Hokenetto up the middle, and he's down after maybe half a yard, if even that. Boy, he was slammed down right at the line of scrimmage. 2 or 3 Warriors, there was nothing there.
They're lining up with a big hole in the middle there. They got like guys lined up on the guards and no one over the center. But then they have 2 linebackers that just both stunt into that hole and plug it up and snap. Now, if you could go with like a silent snap and just the center and the quarterback take off, you might catch him in it.
2nd and goal at the 2. The quarterback keeper to the right. Linker drives off the quick snap, and he's down at the 1, but that's a good call, Kevin. I mean, they went off that quick snap, and he nearly got into the end zone. And it'll be 3rd down and goal at the 1 after the 1-yard keeper there by Linker. The Centaurus crowd getting into this. 6:25 to go, 2nd quarter. The Mustangs are down to this winless Centaurus team on homecoming night, 13-6. All right, will this be Linker again? 3 in the backfield. Linker's under center on 3rd and goal. Linker hands off right side, touchdown. Trey McBride scores easily from a yard out off right tackle, and the Mustangs are to within 1. It's 13-12, and that was as big a hole as we've seen all season as the Mustang senior found the end zone.
They put in the heavy package there. Tyler Christensen, who's been hurt most of the season, was in there at right tackle, and then they had 2 lead blockers for Trey, and she said easy pickings.
Now the extra point to be attempted by Jose Jimenez. The snap is perfect. The kick is up, and that is inside the left upright. It's good. We've got 6 minutes and 9 seconds to go before the break. The score, Fort Morgan 13, Centaurus 13. This is Morgan County's B106 and B106.net. The Mustangs have tied the game at 13 on a 1-yard run by Trey McBride with 6:09 to go in the 2nd quarter. And Fort Morgan, like Centaurus, Brian, benefited from a rough punter. It's a rather odd game.
Yeah, but we're kind of used to that this year. There's been different things happening in almost every game this year.
Isn't that the truth? The kickoff is high and fairly deep, fielded at the 8 and dropped over there. Picked up at the 7-yard line, up the middle to the 15, snapping out of a tackle, still on his feet, across the 25 to about the 27. And again, we're just number guessing at this point. And these red ones, that's Elijah Silver on the return. 1st and 10 for Centaurus. The Mustangs have yet to lead in the game. They have an offensive touchdown and a defensive touchdown.
Right. And the defensive touchdown came at a really good time, kind of stymied Centaurus' momentum, but then they let them back in it with running into the kicker. And Centaurus returns the favor. So you're right, it's a very strange game. It's not at all what I think any of us would have expected the game would be with 6 minutes left in the half.
Tied at 13, 1st and 10. Trips to the left, 2 to the right. The direct snap for Rocca is awaiting it. Now he's got it, looking left, throwing towards the sideline, complete underneath along the sideline, short of a 1st down to about the 35. Oh, we're going to call that, looks like Silver again, a gain of 8. And Faraka has now thrown 18 passes in the game, including a 12-yard touchdown to Andy Mendoza. That was some loose coverage there. 2nd down and 2 from the 35. 1 setback. Let's see if this is a handoff. Well, Faraka looking over towards the sidelines. 3 receivers out to the right, 1 to the left. It looks like a running play. Now Faraka is going to be back to throw. Looking right, pressure coming over the middle. Wide open, complete. Inside the 50 to the 49. It's a gain of 16 and a 1st down on the pass caught by Andy Mendoza.
Well, wide open right over the middle there, and he had plenty of time to pass it.
Tell you what, he's getting hot. 5 out of 5 here for 67 yards from the 49 into Mustang territory. That pass defense is getting tested big time. And they were succeeding early, but now it's a struggle. Trips again to the right. There's the give. Back to the middle for a gain of 1. Nice play by the Mustangs. Jimmy Keller and Isaac Linker there on the ball carrier. Trowell, I'm guessing.
John, what I can't understand is we do a decent job against Holy Family. I'll let you call the play.
Yeah, 2nd down and 9. And out to the left, wide open underneath to about the 41-yard line. It's a gain of about 7 to the underneath receiver along the far sideline. And that's that might be Mendoza. No, that's not Mendoza. That is Silver. Go ahead and make your point, Kevin.
Just that we play such great defense against the Holy Family with probably the best passing game in the state, and then against an 0-5 team, they just dice us.
3rd and 2 from the 41-yard line. Yeah, it's a different Mustang team, but like I said, they're a little bit rusty, somewhere out of position, getting back into position. It's almost like week 1 all over again. Out of the pistol, handoff up the middle to the 40-yard line and down right there. It's only a gain of 1. Mustangs there to make the play. And that's going to be Silver on the carry, unofficially. 4th down and 1 from the 40. This will be a big defensive stand if the Mustangs can come up with it. Again from the pistol here on 4th and 1. 1 setback. Hard count here for Faraka. Now he looks over towards the sideline for play instructions. Under 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. Fort Morgan 13, Centaurus 13. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Awaiting the snap. Faraka is now going to have Centaurus call timeout. It'll be the 2nd timeout used up by the Warriors for head coach Bob Karski. We'll be back in Fort Morgan next Friday night when they take on the Silver Creek Raptors. And, I hate to go in this direction this early in the game, but if they play like this next week, there's no chance of winning. You just can't. I mean, this is an 0-5 team. I know they've got some talent there, but as I mentioned at the outset, they've been outscored 40-11 in their first 5 games. We're tied at 13. It is homecoming night. They have plenty of emotion. But when we were in Broomfield 3 weeks ago, after that first half where the Mustangs were healthier, no doubt, and leading 13-0, you're thinking, wow, that's a state championship type of performance. And it's going to take a while to mirror that because of all the injuries. And tonight is a tougher test than we all thought.
Yep.
It'll be 4th down and 1 from the 40. And now...
Too many guys.
Yeah. What? I'm telling you. Centaurus has made some really bad mistakes. I mean, these are bad mistakes. How do you make that mistake off a timeout?
Right. How do you send 12 guys out and get lined up and then send one back?
I mean, there's some talent on this team. The Warriors have talent. But that illegal substitution.
But, you're talking about the games that we played, and we pretty much played down to the talent we played
That's true.
And played up.
Yeah.
And maybe not quite so down as we are tonight, but we didn't necessarily dominate Brush like we could have, or Falcon for that matter.
Here comes the rush, and it's going to be another roughing the punter as the ball is going to land inside the 11 and down at about the 9-yard line. McBride was there, and I don't know if it was him again. There were 2 other Mustangs, but Nick Gomez took the major contact, and Fort Morgan twice has committed this penalty. The first time it led to a Centaurus touchdown. When Centaurus committed the penalty, it led to a touchdown of their own. And with 3:44 to go off that roughing the punter, we haven't had a running into the punter, roughing the punter. The drive is extended. Centaurus has it at the Fort Morgan 30-yard line. And see, these are the plays. There's no rust involved here. There's no rust. That is just sloppy play that Fort Morgan really is not known for.
Right.
Especially on special teams where they've excelled at certain points of the season.
I'm going to predict now that if Centaurus roughs Fort Morgan's punter later on in the game, I'm heading to the dog tracks and betting the trifecta.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like this. 3 times, even before the first half has expired. Out of the pistol, 1st and 10 from the 30. And there's the give. Stutter stepping is Silver, and he drives inside the 30 to the 29, but the Mustangs were there on the right side of their defensive line to make the play. Then Jimmy Keller kind of cleaned it up there for a gain of 1. It'll be 2nd down and 9 to go for Centaurus to the 29-yard line. It'd be nice if Fort Morgan got the ball before the end of the first half, Brian, because they received the second half kickoff. And that would have been a great opportunity right there.
Yeah, that'd have been worked right into their plans, but
Let's see if they tighten up the coverage. 2nd down and 9. Trips to the right. Faraka lofts it up the left sideline. The pass is going to be incomplete. It's underthrown. Intended over there for Silver himself, who was lined up in the slot. And defended by, I believe, Moya. Yeah, Donovan Moya was out there. Faraka just attempted his 21st pass. But in his previous 6 was 6 for 6 for 74 yards. He's already thrown for 143 this game.
And you mentioned a pick 6. What a good time it'd be for that to grab that ball and go the other way.
Or at least any type of pick here. 3rd down and 10 to go for the Mustang 29. 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Naked backfield, direct snap, quick drop, throwing out, tipped and incomplete. Boy, it was tipped at the line of scrimmage. I think McBride got a hand on that football. It'll be 4th down and 10. It's 4-down territory for the Warriors. Off the 22nd pass attempt. Here by Nick Faraka.
If we can stop him here, we'll have a little under 3 minutes to try to go down and get a touchdown. But first things first here.
4th down and 10. Out of the pistol, rolling to his right. Pressure coming backside. The throw along the sideline, incomplete. The receiver was headed towards the end zone, and he was at about the 5-yard line, and the ball fell down at the 15 with nobody around the football, and the Mustangs take over. Nice job of Jimmy Keller providing pressure on the backside, and the Mustangs now have an opportunity to take their first lead of the game.
And they haven't taken a shot deep to Garver or Trey, for that matter. Maybe there'd be a chance to try and get one of them loose down the sideline.
2:58 to go, 2nd quarter. Fort Morgan 13, Centaurus 13. 1st and 10 for the Mustangs at their own 29. Trips are lined up to the right. Hokenedo the lone setback. 1 receiver to the left. Out of the pistol. Linker is going to roll out to his right. Throws on the run. Intercepted at the 40-yard line. Intended for McBride. But right there to make the pick was a Warrior. An easy pick there. That might have been Silver. Nope. In fact, that was picked off. Let's see if we even have the... yeah, again, doesn't match. Yeah, we don't have it matching.
44 mag post. Is that possible?
Yeah, I don't think it was him. Nonetheless, it's Linker throws an interception. That's the 5th interception he's thrown in the last 3 games. He had 2 against Berthoud, 2 against Meade, but 1 was a desperation at the end of the opening half. Now Centaurus at the 36-yard line of the Mustangs. Handoff up the middle, but a flag is down. Montoya actually out of the backfield, but it will be a legal procedure against Centaurus. And if they cleaned up these mistakes, they would have the lead.
Yeah. And maybe a big lead at this point, because they've really killed themselves on penalties.
Linker has struggled a bit tonight with a passing game. He is 5 out of 11 for 40 yards. 1st and 15 for the Mustang 41. Trips to the right. 1 receiver to the left. Faraka setting up, throwing deep up the right side, wide open, complete at the 25-yard line, and then breaking out of a tackle and then stepping on the end line there at the 23. And again, we're going to call that Silver, who's got a different number. And it's a gain of 18 and a 1st down off that pass from Faraka to Silver. Wow.
We have some chippiness going back and forth from Fort Morgan defender and someone on the sideline.
1st and 10 at the Mustang 23. Plenty of time. 2:40 to go, 2nd quarter. Faraka with a 4-step drop, and the pass is tipped down at the line of scrimmage. What an excellent play. That might have been McBride again, Dylan McBride. Bobby Tolson near that football, but I think McBride is the one who got a hand on it. It'll be 2nd down and 10 to go after pass attempt number 25 from Faraka. All right, from the 23. Well, they're up to the line. They don't waste any time. They maximize the number of plays. Faraka will hand it off to Silver, but McBride is right there to throw him for a loss as he ran laterally to his left. And he's down for a loss of 2. 3rd and 12 at the 25-yard line.
There's been some sloppy tackling.
Why is the clock stopping? What is that? There's no timeout called. You got to run that clock. What are they doing?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I mean, nobody's looking at the clock. Yeah, but there was no reason to stop that. 3rd and 12. That's bad. From the 25, pressure coming. Slant over the middle is caught inside the 15 to the 14. That is Andy Mendoza. That's a gain of 11.
Bring up a 4th and 1 and an important defensive stand again for Fort Morgan.
Yeah, but that's ridiculous. They shouldn't have stopped. I mean, it's not a major effect right now, but you can't be stopping the clock when it's not even authorized. 4th down and half a yard to go. And now, do we have another timeout? The final timeout used by Centaurus.
Mustangs.
Yep, the Mustangs called a timeout, and it's brought to you by Ehrlich Toyota East. Whether you're in the market to purchase a new or pre-owned vehicle, Ehrlich Toyota East in Fort Morgan will fit you into the car truck of your choice, serving all of Northeast Colorado. Ehrlich Toyota East. John Beltran with Brian Nickel and Kevin Rohde with 1:59 to go in the opening half. In Lafayette, Fort Morgan and Centaurus are deadlocked at 13, and we are straight up listening live at the top of the hour. You are listening to Morgan County's B106. This is KPRB. Brush Fort Morgan, as now the Mustang defense has got to make a play here on 3rd and a little bit less than a yard, as the ball is just inside the Mustang 15-yard line. I would have never guessed, outside of the penalties, that Centaurus was a winless team. No. Because they can execute well offensively. So here we go. I don't even know if that's Faraka. They're taking the direct snap. On 4th down and less than a yard. And there is the pitch forward. And right there, I think he's held short. It was a pitch forward and held short. Let's see who that was for Dylan McBride there to make the play. But that was a little underhand pitch, so that goes as a pass from Faraka. And that might have been Medino. It doesn't matter. It's going to be held short of a 1st down right at the line of scrimmage. And the Mustangs will have the football.
And now the clock's running.
I mean, come on. I mean,
They ran 7 or 8 seconds off the clock when it should have been dead.
That's such Mickey Mouse stuff. I mean, I don't know who's running things here, but come on. I mean, those are 2 significant mistakes there on the clock. 1st and 10 for the 15. Linker is going to roll out to his right. Pressure coming. Throws off his back foot. Incomplete. Intended along the sideline for Trey McBride at the 24, but he was well covered.
They're going to have to change up the patterns there. They just keep running the down and outs, and that worked against teams that were playing outside leverage or inside leverage against us, but Centaurus has scouted us, and they've got it figured out. We're going to have someone cut back inside and open up.
2nd down and 10, just shy of the 15-yard line. You know what I think could be hurting Linker a little bit is that McBride is out there because he's looking for him so much because he's a primary target. Handoff along the right side. I believe that's Hamer that time, but that's a short gain across the 15 to the 17.
That thought crossed my mind. We talk about big Trey McBride's back, and boy, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to go our way, and we come out here, and it isn't. And there's that letdown by the rest of the team as they think Trey's just going to pick it up and take over.
Gain of 3. It'll be 3rd down and 7 from the 18. The Mustangs still have 2 timeouts remaining, and Centaurus could use their final timeout. If Fort Morgan doesn't pick up a 1st down, we have 53 seconds to go. Handoff right side, Hamer. He's got a big hole. That's a 1st down. Across the 25. That's Donovan Moya to the 26-yard line. A gain of 8. That was a nice hole off the right side. And the speedy Donovan Moya was able to find a seam for a 1st down. So a nice job by the Mustang ground game to get out of trouble. But now the clock is going to roll with 42 seconds to go. I think the Mustangs are going to take this into the locker room because they do receive the second half kickoff. However, they're up to the line of scrimmage with the ball just shy of the 27. Backs in an eye. Linker hands it off left side, looking to swing it back to the outside as Moya, and he's taken down. There is a face mask, and then he was taken down by a secondary defender. Well, you know what? This could change things here for Fort Morgan because that football now, if it's a spot foul, though, it won't be all the way to the 41-yard line or 42 from the original line of scrimmage. It'll be at about the 36. 28 seconds to go. You have 2 timeouts remaining.
You got to take a shot here,
right?
I think.
You got to
take a shot.
So nullify the carry there for, well, actually it is a carry. For Moya, it's going to go as a loss of, let's see, the original line of scrimmage. Yeah, it would be a loss of about 7. Now 6 yards, loss of 6. But anyway, here we go. 1st and 10, the Mustangs at their own 36. But the clock is running now, so 8 seconds to go. Linker's back to throw, and he'll take off with the football along the left side to the 40, and he's out of bounds at the 47. All right, so he picks up 11 yards. He's got a strong arm. He might be able to unleash this into the end zone. Linker now with 5 carries for 24 yards. Let's see. I don't know how strong his arm is. I mean, well, I know how strong it is, but you're going to have to get some blocking, step up in the pocket, and heave it a good 55 yards if that's the game plan here. Out of the pistol. 2 receivers split each side. Hokenettle, the lone setback on the final play, unless there's a defensive penalty. He's getting pressured. He throws underneath, and it's incomplete. It's off of the offensive lineman's foot as Linker had all sorts of pressure, and that's the end of the opening half. With the score, the Fort Morgan Mustangs 13, the Centaurus Warriors 13. You're listening to Morgan County's B106 and B106.net. John Beltran back with Brian Nickel and Kevin Rohde here from Centaurus High School in Lafayette. The Mustangs and Warriors are deadlocked at 13. We'll begin the second half momentarily. The Mustangs have yet to emerge from the locker room. It's homecoming night. This was talked about earlier, so it's a even lengthier halftime. Again, Centaurus coming into the game with an 0-5 record. And the Mustangs at 2-3 have not won since they were on the road in week 2 against Falcon, and Falcon has not won a game this year. And the Mustangs will receive the second half kickoff. And maybe they can do in the second half what we projected them to do in the first half, which is take control of this game against an inferior opponent record-wise. Just record-wise, because they haven't proven it so far. The Mustangs have been outgained by over 60 yards in the opening half. Very cool, very crisp night here in Lafayette. It'll be interesting to see, Brian, what the Mustangs do philosophically on the offensive side, because Coach Chisholm said it at the break, and you talked about it at halftime. What's going to happen in terms of establishing the ground game? Is it going to happen? They want it to happen, but it has to be realistic.
They want it to. They need it to happen. Is what you were saying. You know, Linker's not on his game tonight as far as passing the ball. Always on the run, throwing it. So, you know, the Centaurus have been given up 374 yards on the ground, and you know it looks like to me that's the way they got to go. They got to get this run established. They need to get it tonight before they go on into Silver Creek, because they're going to need it somewhere along the way to try to run the clock out. They've needed it this year and haven't been able to do it.
Well, for the Mustangs to match that total you just mentioned, they're going to have to run for nearly 300 yards in the second half, and there's no indication they're going to get even 150 yards. So, but we'll see. You never know. I mean, the Mustangs have a very good coaching staff. They've done, I'm sure, everything in their power to get it going.
Yeah, the least they've given up was to Berthoud. That's 177 yards on 32 carries.
Which is still a good 5.5 yards a carry. All right, so Fort Morgan here momentarily will receive the second half kickoff.
Right, and I think the keys to the second half are going to be find some way to give the Fort Morgan kids some confidence going into Silver Creek. Because if they play another half like this, and even if we squeak by and win by 2 points or a point, we're going to go into Silver Creek with no confidence to even be able to play with them.
Yeah.
And so come out, even if we don't run for as many yards, but if we dominate somehow, pick something that we can be successful with and dominate on that and win the game, you know, by a touchdown or two, I think that's something you can build on.
Well, here we go, Brian. Based on your nickel package, the running game 0 for 1. You had cut down on the penalties. They'd had those special team penalties. I mean, that half a game, I say they're 0 for 2 there.
Yep.
Put pressure on the quarterback. They have done that to a relative success. I mean, they did have a strip sack. So let's give them that one there, even though Faraka has had time to throw, and he's thrown for 166 yards. But anytime you have a defensive touchdown, you can't give them a failing grade or anything too negative for that, because that's a score. But put Trey to work. He's had 3 catches. He has scored a touchdown. So that one might be, in the middle, a yes and a no, so to speak, because, again, it's his first game in 5 weeks. And then finally get up on them early. That's a big no.
Yep.
So they have not succeeded on 3 of those 5 in the nickel package. And that's what they're going to have to do here in the second half in order to come away with a victory. But remember, this is why Coach Chisholm said it. He says, we don't want to come out with this attitude of just getting a win. We want to control the tempo. We want to dominate. And, well, you know what? They've got 24 minutes to do it. You can put the first half behind you. You're tied. You've got 24 minutes, and let's see what they do here as Nick Gomez will be kicking it off for Centaurus.
We've got to completely cut down on turnovers. We can't afford any more of those.
Sadinana and Ortega back deep to receive. A couple of sophomores, a line drive. It'll be fielded by Ortega on 2 hops at the 8. Running to his left across the 15 to the 20. Then he's stacked up at about the 23-yard line. All right. It's Mustang time right here. Let's see if they get going in the right direction, drive it down the field, and take their first lead of the game. Here's a perfect opportunity as they officially begin from the 23-yard line, just shy of the 23-yard line.
There's their fullback house field.
Yep.
Full house backfield.
With 3 in the backfield, hand off to the deep man. That is McBride with a big hole into the secondary across the 35 to the 37-yard line. That's the way to get the ground game going as Trey McBride rumbles for a gain of close to 15, just shy of 38. First down, Fort Morgan, just his second carry of the game. The first went for a touchdown.
They've got 72, an offensive lineman on it, tight end on this right side.
McBride, the deep setback, has the football again off right tackle, and they grab him around the ankles at the 40, but McBride is so strong that he runs to the 43 for a gain of 6. It'll be second down and 4 to go for the Mustangs. Malachi Lasowski, a 6'5", 301-pound senior, was able to make the play. Now from the 43 on 2nd and 4. Handoff to the up man, right up the gut, and driving across the 45 to the 48. Close to a first down. And that is Dylan McBride on the carry. Well, we'll call it a gain of, it's a gain of about 4, but it's 4th and less than a yard to go. How about this? Third down, third, less than a yard. Handoff, Trey McBride, first down to the 50, and he's still on his feet, carrying defenders inside the 40 to the 37-yard line. That's a gain of 15 for Trey McBride, and a Mustang first down.
This is what we were looking for. Put him to work, and, just like Kevin said, mano a mano, just put a helmet on somebody, make a block, and Trey's finding the hole.
Well, they have eased into it here. First and 10 from the 37. Again, 3 in the backfield under center. Linker hands off to McBride off the right side inside the 35. And he's packing and carrying defenders to the 30. I mean, any other person is down after 2 or 3 yards. He's gained 7 on the play.
But the offensive line is finally, on the snap of the ball, the offensive line, or the line of scrimmage is moving 2 yards downfield. And that's what you have to have.
It'll be second down. And about 3 to go for Fort Morgan. Just shy of the 30-yard line. There's McBride again off the right side. First down. And again, he's carrying defenders inside the 25 to about the 22. It's a gain of 8 yards for Trey McBride. And on this drive alone, he's got 5 carries for 51 yards.
This is what we were looking for, where you said ease them back in. Now they're showing them what they can do.
Well, they're not easing them in here in this quarter. They're just going for it. On 1st and 10 from the 22. Linker turns, hands it off to McBride. He's hit in the backfield, and he might have gotten back just to the line of scrimmage and maybe even got a yard to the 21. Again, he's that strong. It'll be 2nd down and 9 to go. As he was stacked up there by Mac Post, a 6 foot, 220-pound senior. 2nd down and 9. McBride with runs of 15-6, 15-7, 8, and then just the one there. They could key on him all they want, and the Mustangs just get a block or two here. Right. McBride could do something special. He's in the backfield there, both McBrides with Hokenetto. 2nd down and 9 from the Centaurus 21-yard line. Handoff to Trey, taking up the left side of the 20, inside the 20, and he dives to the 15-yard line. It's a gain of 6 for Trey McBride.
And I'd say we're in 4-down territory, not that they probably will need to be, but with this power running, they can certainly do it.
No, and they're chewing up some clock, too. By the time the ball is snapped, they'll be at 8 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, tied at 13 on the opening drive of the 2nd half. 3rd down and 3 to go for Fort Morgan at the 15-yard line of Centaurus under center. Yep. 3 Warriors moved across the line of scrimmage on the hard count. And Fort Morgan will have it 1st down and goal at the 10. Yeah, I don't think they can get a 1st down now. I think, the nose of the football's at the 10, so it's 1st and goal. From the 10, Linker under center, hands off to McBride, off the right side. He's back to the line of scrimmage. And that's about it for McBride. He got inside the 10, but officially no gain. But this could set up a rollout and a little toss somewhere.
Right. One problem is that they have offensive linemen at both ends, so they aren't eligible because their numbers aren't eligible to go downfield.
Right.
So it's going to have to be someone releasing out of the backfield.
Yeah, and there are 3 in the backfield. Again, Dylan McBride, John Hokenetto, Trey McBride, 2nd and goal. Inside the 10, handoff to McBride. He is stacked up after a gain of about 1 to the 9. And now Centaurus is on top of that play. It'll be 3rd down and goal from the 9-yard line. McBride on his last 4 carries has a total of 8 yards.
And maybe fake that play and have a naked, bootleg around the corner. Because Linker's a gamer, he can run with the ball too.
Well, let's see if that's the case. This will be the 12th play of the drive for Fort Morgan. On 3rd and goal, Linker's going to hand it off on the misdirection to Dylan McBride. Stiff arms a man to the 6-yard line to the 5. He drives inside the 5 to about the 3 for a gain of 6. It'll be 4th down and goal as Dylan McBride picked up his 2nd carry there for now 10 yards. And the Mustangs, where do they start this? At the 23-yard line. They've traveled 74 yards. They need 3 more. They're going to chew up almost half of the 3rd quarter clock. 4th and goal from the 3. Again, the same in the backfield. Hokenetto and the 2 McBrides. On 4th down, under center. Handoff to Trey, left side, drives towards the goal line. He tries to back into the end zone, and I believe he is short. He is down inside the 1. He does not score. And Centaurus takes over on downs as a gain of 2 for Trey McBride. And Centaurus is backed up nearly into their own end zone, and the Mustangs chewed up 5 minutes and 56 seconds on the drive, but they do not score, and that ball is barely beyond the goal line for Centaurus.
And they can't take this as a failure because they established that dominance as they march down. Now defense has to take over and try and stuff them, get a turnover or a safety.
Nick Faraka is going to be in that gun 4 yards deep into the end zone. Faraka is going to take the football up the left side, and he's going to drive to about the 2, maybe. Yep. No, the Mustangs won a safety, but they drove back into the end zone, but he had plenty of momentum. And for Faraka, man, they're going to give him the 3. Wow. It's a generous spot, a gain of 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Still anybody's ball game here.
Yep. This is where the defense needs to make a stand, though.
Again, well behind center, awaiting the direct snap. There's Faraka looking over towards the sideline. He's 2 yards deep into his own end zone. On 2nd and 8 from the 3. Faraka again stutter stepping, running to his left, and then he's going to be taken down for a loss. Back to about the 2, maybe the 1. Luis Garcia was the first Mustang to get him. Yeah, it's a loss of 1. It'll be 3rd down and 9. I wonder why they're not throwing the ball. I mean, it's just a lot of stutter stepping.
Right.
And I know they're deep in their own end zone, but he looked really good in the first half.
Right.
Of course, they probably fear the pick 6 as well. 3rd down and 9 to go from their own 2. Trips to the right, 1 to the left. Faraka back to throw. Heaves it deep up the left side. The pass is going to be incomplete, and the Mustangs right there. Donovan Moya was right on top of the receiver at the 32-yard line. And that was Mendoza, I believe. It'll be 4th down.
And what kind of pressure is this punter going to be under? He knows that he's gotten hit twice and almost blocked, and now he's got a short end zone there to deal with.
Well, the Mustangs have to be smart here. Back of the end zone, Gomez gets it off a high end-over-end short punt. Might as well let it bounce. Bounces at the 36, takes a Mustang roll, and then Centaurus downs it at the 32, maybe the 33-yard line. So Fort Morgan has outstanding field position. Deadlocked at 13, 4:46 to go, 3rd quarter on homecoming night. And they have come out fired up, have the Warriors. But the Mustangs have controlled the tempo here in the 3rd. Unfortunately, they have not gotten into the end zone.
Short field this time, so we got to put it in the end zone. They come out running like they have been. They'll get in there about the time the quarter ends.
1st and 10 for Fort Morgan. At the 33, there's the handoff on the right side. A big hole for Hamer across the 25. He spins inside the 25 to the 20, now to the 19. It's a gain of 14 yards for J.P. Hamer, who's been very effective tonight despite a limited number of carries. That's a 1st down.
Now they're putting Trey in at that left tight end. We'll see whether they still put 11 guys up in the box, and maybe we dump it over the top to Trey.
They backtrack the football to the 20. 1st and 10 for the Mustangs. And Hamer already has got 4 carries for 40 yards. Under center's Linker. He's been under center his entire 3rd quarter. Play action, rolling to his left. He's got no pressure. He can run with the football if he wants. He does to the 15 near the left sideline. Stutter steps and is out of bounds at about the 13-yard line. It's a gain of 7 for Linker. And talk about the run setting up that play.
Yeah, and I think probably Centaurus was thinking the exact same thing I am. They noticed that all of a sudden Trey's in there at that tight end instead of at that tailback spot. We're going to throw to him, and they had him well covered, double covered down deep. Good job of Linker to make something out of it.
2nd down and 3 to go from the Centaurus 13-yard line. Now 3 in the backfield. McBride is the deep setback, has the football to his right, 1st down to the 10, backs his way inside the 10 towards the 8-yard line for a gain of 5 for Trey McBride, who had 1 carry for a touchdown of 1 yard in the opening half, and now has 11 carries here in the 3rd quarter alone, and has picked up 66 yards.
This is kind of what we were waiting for.
Yeah.
1st and goal from the 8. Same formation. Full house backfield. McBride off the right side, inside the 5, drives towards the end zone. He's in. He broke a couple of tackles, and Trey McBride scored easily from 8 yards out as the senior has his 2nd touchdown of the game. Fort Morgan 19, Centaurus 13.
If you listen really carefully, you hear this sound as the air is being let out of Centaurus' homecoming. If they don't come back and do good on offense this next drive, they'll be done.
Now the extra point to be attempted by Jose Jimenez. The Mustangs get a lineman up there late. Awaiting the snap. Linker will hold the football. It's down. The kick is up. And that is perfect. 3:37 to go, 3rd quarter. The Mustangs have their first lead of the game. It's Fort Morgan 20, Centaurus 13 on Morgan County's B106 and B106.net. All right, the Mustangs utilized a short field and were able to capitalize an 8-yard run by Trey McBride. And they now lead the game 20-13 in the 3rd quarter with 3:37 to go over Centaurus and Lafayette. And gentlemen, a familiar identity offensively.
Yes, that was Mustang football on the last 2 possessions. They didn't get it in the end zone on that first run, on that first possession, but that second possession, they got it in there for 7 points.
Jimenez with a fairly short kick at the 14, drop, picked up at the 16-yard line, running to it left down at the 20. Boy, Jimmy Keller with a special teams tackle in the open field. Excellent play. That was Silver, I believe, on the return, and it was. So here we go. Now it's up to the Fort Morgan defense to keep this at a 7-point game, and you never know. They could be good enough to extend the lead. Well, they already did score a touchdown early in the game in the first quarter on the strip sack. Fumble recovered in the end zone by Bobby Tolson. 1st and 10 Centaurus. The football's at the 20. Out of the gun. Man in motion to the right. Trips to the right. Faraka throws it out in the right. Flat pass is caught and down for a loss. Back at the 16-yard line. Mendoza was tattooed over there. Man, who made that play for Monroe? That was Andrew Monroe. Yeah, the sophomore. He read that. I'm telling you, he read that before the ball was thrown.
Right.
Loss of 4.
Although the offensive coaches are going to look at that and say, next time we're going to fake that and throw it to Anthony's guy downfield all alone. So got to be careful what we do.
Right, because he read it very early. Back to throw to his left. The pass is nearly intercepted. Oh, Donovan Moya jumped the route on Silver. He had it in his hands. I'm not sure he would have scored because Silver was right next to him, but it's incomplete, and that was nearly the pick six the Mustangs were looking for.
Yeah, he cut right in front of that. He wouldn't have got the pick six. I think the guy would have brought him down, but couldn't quite bring it in.
It'll be 3rd down and 10 from their own 20. Again, behind center, well behind center. Faraka setting up, throwing to his left, wide open. The pass is caught underneath, close to a first down, but driven down to the 29-yard line. Should be short after a gain of 9. That was called by Silver.
Gain of 13, I believe. I think it was 3rd and 14.
Oh, you're right. You're right, Brian. Gain of 13. It was from the 16-yard line. It'll be 4th down and 1. Thanks for the correction there. And they're sending out the punting unit. Nick Gomez is into punt. Mustangs got to make sure they got 10 on the field. And there's the quick snap. They get it off end over end. It's going to bounce at the 35-yard line and take a nice Centaurus roll inside the 30 towards the 28. So that's a punt of 43 yards. And now the Mustangs late in the third quarter, 2:48 to go with a 20-13 lead. Will probably try to do what they did on the first 2 possessions of the second half.
Yep, they're putting the heavy tight end, offensive lineman back in there. Until Centaurus can stop them, and they did stop them like a half a yard short on the first drive, but until they can consistently do that, you might as well just keep pounding them.
Well, they got the same backfield. Dylan McBride, John Hokenedel, Trey McBride from the 29. Handoff right up the gut to Hokenedel, and he drives and continues to drive, and then he's driven back. Wow. At about the 35-yard line, he is so strong that it took a few to drive him back. A gain of 6 for John Hokenedel. And that's his 7th carry of the game for 28 yards. 2nd down and 4 for Fort Morgan. And again, Linker is lined up underneath the center the entire third quarter. On 2nd and 4. Handoff, left side, McBride. He's going to be held up trying to break out of a tackle short of a first down along the left side to the 37-yard line. Gain of 2, a short 2 at that. 3rd down and a long 2 to go for Fort Morgan.
Yeah, an individual that's in there helping tonight that we haven't seen all year is Tyler Christensen, as he's been on the right offensive end.
Just shy of the 37, 3rd and 2. Fort Morgan on their own side of the field. Linker with a hard count, hands it off to McBride off the right side, and he drives towards the 38. He's held short, but he's very close, though. Yeah. Nearly at the 39. We'll give him 2 yards in the play. You know what? I think they're going to go for it here. They're too close. That's not even a yard. That's maybe a few inches. Yeah, this is going to be, you'd think, hey, Linker, quick snap, and just go for the first down. I think that's going to be the call here because it's 4th down, and I'm telling you, that's 4th down in about a foot or 2. Right. Approaching the 1-minute mark of the third. Fort Morgan 20, Centaurus 13. And now Centaurus is going to call a timeout. Interesting timeout, down by 7. I mean, it's going to be tough to stop Fort Morgan.
I think Centaurus might be asking for a measurement, or maybe the other side asked for the measurement. It looks like they're going to bring the chains out.
We'll see. Coach Chisholm's out on the field there. I'm not sure what.
Well, it looks like
I think they're asking for a measurement, but they're not supposed to be over here talking to the coaches. I don't believe.
The coaches have to be off the field.
It looks like he's clearly short, but not by much. I mean, this is really close.
Well, get the chain set, refs.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, that is just, that's probably a foot.
And why would they be setting, I've ran the chains before with the Fort Morgan Fire Department. You set that little marker on that thing to the 5-yard line markers so that you can put it up there, and they're out there in the middle trying to do that.
Yeah. I don't understand that timeout, to be honest with you. Yeah. 4th down and that short. If it was 4th and 3 or something, you're wasting a timeout late in the 3rd quarter. I mean, that's going to give the Mustangs that much more of an advantage. I'd be shocked if Fort Morgan didn't pick this up. Linker dropped the ball, though, and no, that's going to stop Morgan. They could only stop themselves, but the ball did advance forward. It did advance forward, but now they're going to have to measure. I think Linker either didn't get the snap correctly or pulled out from under center too early. Boy, that's the only way. Fort Morgan was not going to be stopped. They had to stop themselves. It does look like the ball moved a little bit forward, but did it move enough for a 1st down? Nonetheless, no gain for Linker there. Boy, type of season it's been. Plays like that. Fort Morgan was on somewhat of cruise control in the 3rd quarter, and now they might turn it over on downs, and this could be outstanding field position for Centaurus.
I think the ref went over there and told him to put that marker on the 35 like Kevin said.
I mean, all you needed was a clean exchange from center to quarterback. You're going to get a 1st down there.
Yep.
But when that does not happen, and I don't know if the ball was fallen upon or it just rolled forward and then fallen upon. Yeah, I don't think they're going to get it. They stretch the sticks out, and Centaurus is... Oh, the Mustangs have a 1st down by a credit card. Holy mahungus. Oh, wow. Were you thinking like me that Centaurus is going to get the football?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it did roll forward, and John Hokenedel, right at the end of the play, was signaling 1st downs, and he's right on top of it, even though he didn't have the football in his hands.
Yes.
1st and 10 at the 39. 49 seconds to go with the clock running here late in the 3rd. Mustangs lead 20-13. Full house backfield. Linker hands off on the right side to McBride. Back to the middle. Across the 45. He's carrying defenders. Piggybacking them inside the 50. Across the 50 to the 47. It's a gain of 14 and a 1st down. And McBride has taken these Warriors for a ride. That's his 15th carry of the quarter.
Yeah, and welcome back, Trey, I guess.
Oh, he's got 91 yards in the quarter alone, 92 in the game, with a 1-yard touchdown run.
And we'll have the wind 2nd half, but there's not much wind left out there.
And the Mustangs are going to let the time run out here in the 3rd quarter. With the score, Fort Morgan 20, Centaurus 13 on Morgan County's B106 and B106.net. John Beltran with Brian Nickel and Kevin Rohde. Let's head to the 4th from Lafayette, where the Mustangs now lead 20-13. Trey McBride scored from 8 yards out in the 3rd, and now Fort Morgan has it 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line of Centaurus. McBride picked up 91 yards on the ground in that quarter. He's the deep back. Pitch to McBride. Swinging it to the outside of the 45. Inside the 40. He dives along the sideline to the 37. 1st down for the Mustangs. And it's a gain of 11 for Trey McBride, who's over 100 yards.
It's the first time they've taken that power running outside and just got everybody to go a little bit wider. And Centaurus was bringing everybody inside to try and stop that inside run. But now they have to respect it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. He's punishing defenders, too. 1st and 10 at the 37. Handoff to the up man, Dylan McBride. Breaks out of a tackle, and he spins his way to the 34. He was held up initially. but it was able to pick up 3 yards after a couple of those Warriors got their body on him, including Taylor Herbstreit. It'll be 2nd down and 7 to go for the Mustangs. Dylan McBride has got 3 carries for 13 yards. From the 34, the Mustangs are looking to go up by double digits. Handoff to Trey off the right side, back towards the middle. And he's down after a short gain of 3 to the 31. But again, the Mustangs will take this. That was his 18th carry, the 17th of the second half. It'll be 3rd down and 4 to go for the Mustangs at the 31-yard line. Yeah, there's going to be no reason for Fort Morgan to pass. And I think Fort Morgan might have taken a timeout, an official's timeout. I think we had a shoe issue there.
I'd like to see him put Hamer back in and maybe have Trey block a couple times at tight end and then see if they can sneak him downfield for a throw.
Man, look at the right side of that Mustang defensive line. They look huge out there with that Wilgenberg and Christensen that you talked about earlier. 3rd and 4 from the 31, and it looked like the defense jumped, handoff to McBride. Stutter stepping back to the middle, a 1st down to about the 26-yard line. There was no whistle, and they just kept it going, but Trey did enough for a gain of 5, and the drive continues for Fort Morgan, even though they were in 4-down territory anyway.
And we're using up all the time that Centaurus will need to come back from a 2-score deficit if we can punch this in.
Again, they're going primarily with their full house backfield of Dylan McBride and John Hokenetto on the deep back. And Trey McBride from the 26-yard line, up by 7 early in the 4th quarter. Isaac Linker under center. And he's going to take off with the football off the fake handoff, runs to his right as he spins his way to the 23-yard line. It didn't look like a busted play. It looked like almost like a play-action run.
Right.
Gain of 3 for Isaac Linker. Along the far side, that was his 8th carry for 34 yards. 2nd down and 8 to go for Fort Morgan. Make it 7 to go at the 23-yard line. And they want to take their sweet time and grab a double-digit lead. From the 23, full house backfield, handoff, right side to Ortega, to the 20, Stutter steps to the 15, and he's got a 1st down inside the 15 to maybe the 13-yard line. Jacob Ortega with a nifty run, a gain of 10. It's only his 3rd carry and his 1st carry since the fumble in the opening quarter.
Yeah, a little bit of change up there. Still got that big line up there, but they got a little bit quicker back in there.
Well, yeah, Trey, I'm sure, has got to get a break.
Yep.
And correct me if I'm wrong, today's the first time we've seen Dylan McBride with the ball.
Well, and Dylan's on the sideline. It looks like he's being treated for an injury or some mishap. 1st and 10 for Fort Morgan. Jacob Ortega, the deep setback. They're at the Centaurus 13-yard line. Linker will hand it off to Ortega, running off right side or to the right side, and he's down inside the... Oh, no, he didn't get to the 10. Just a gain of about 1 or 2. Jitterbugged his way to about the 11. 2nd down and 8 to go for Fort Morgan, so that's why Ortega's in there. Boy, they didn't give him much, just a yard, actually. We'll call it. Yeah, is that the
2nd and 9?
Yeah, just inside the 12. All right, now Trey McBride is the deep setback. Keller and Hokenetto in front of Trey McBride. Just inside the 12. Linker pitches it to McBride to the inside of the 10, then he's down right there. He tumbled at the 10 for a gain of a couple.
Yeah, good defensive play there by, it looks like number 12 maybe. Went low and grabbed his ankles.
That's Nick Faraka. He's also the quarterback on this team. 3rd down.
Must have been someone else because Faraka's here on the sideline. These numbers are really hard to read.
Yeah, well, 3rd down and a long 7, just shy of the 10. And we had one of these two teams called timeout. It was Fort Morgan and the Mustang timeout. As always, brought to you by Ehrlich Toyota East. Whether you're in the market to purchase a new or pre-owned vehicle, Ehrlich Toyota East in Fort Morgan will fit you into the car truck of your choice, serving all of Northeast Colorado. Ehrlich Toyota East. 7:35 to go in the game. The Mustangs lead Centaurus 20-13. And one thing is incredibly evident. They have controlled the tempo of the second half. It is flown by here in the second half.
Right.
Yeah, this is what we had hoped we would see, especially when McBride got back.
But it's amazing his usage. One carry in the first half, 3 passes to him, and all of a sudden, hey, you know what? And maybe he has to be used a little bit more.
Now they're going back to the spread offense.
3rd down and 7 for the Centaurus 10. 2 receivers to the left. Linker under center. Looking to throw. Off his back foot towards the middle. The pass is caught by McBride inside the 5. He drives along the left side to the 2. It's going to be a 1st and goal for Fort Morgan. What a throw to Trey McBride. And he's got 8 yards on that play, but he could have been held short of the 1st down. But again, he's just piggybacking defenders.
Yeah, three Centaurus Warriors there, and they couldn't keep him from getting that 1st down.
He about drug him into the end zone.
Well, that was Linker's first throw of the second half, his first pass attempt. Is that amazing?
Right. They had the one passing play down here where they had him covered and he had to run. You're right. It's only the first pass.
1st and goal from the 2. Hamer's the deep setback. Hand off to Hamer, right side, and he backs his way into the end zone, maybe, or he did not get in.
Really?
Man, I thought he was in. Wow, it looked like he was in, but he was held short just inside the 1.
Well, we're running a little more time off the clock.
That's right.
All right, it'll be 2nd down and goal. I didn't see how there was any way he would not get into the end zone, but that's what happened. All right, Hoken Eddles in front of Hamer. And that power eye. It could be a quarterback keeper. Linker, quarterback keeper, touchdown right off that left guard. He scores from a yard out, and the Mustangs now lead Centaurus 26-13. And we've got just over 6.5 minutes to go in the game.
Dylan's coming back in for the extra point, so I think that's a good sign.
Yeah, he was banged up temporarily.
Nice call on that play, though, Coach Beltran.
Well, they've been doing that, and I wasn't a genius to call that. Let's see if Jimenez can make it a 14-point game, and his kick is up. Man, this kid's got a strong leg. That's perfect. 6:34 to go, 4th quarter. Fort Morgan 27, Centaurus 13. You're listening to Mustang Football on Morgan County's B106 and B106.net. All right, the Mustangs take a 27-13 lead. Brian, they took it right down the field. Man, what a...
16 plays.
Wow.
And that was after they barely squeaked out on that 1st down, as you said, by a credit card.
Yeah,
right.
16 plays in about 8+ minutes is what they did. It started with a...
2:48 left in the 3rd, and
Yeah.
it's 6:34 here in the 4th.
Well, and that kickoff is booted well into the end zone, about 7 yards deep by Jimenez. And Centaurus starts at their own 20-yard line. Down by 14 points. The Mustangs have scored the last 21 in the game. Kevin, I'm sorry, I know you wanted to make a point here.
That was long past. But I think at this point, Centaurus is going to have to feel a little bit pressured. Yes, they can score quickly, but if they don't get an onside kick after the score, Fort Morgan's just going to eat up the time, and it's going to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 4-down territory no matter where they're at now.
1st and 10. Naked backfield. Out of the gun, trips to the right. Faraka looking to his right, throws over the middle, passes incomplete. At the feet of the receiver.
Yeah, he wasn't even looking. He hadn't even turned around to look for it.
Yeah, Andy Mendoza. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Happy feet for Faraka, as he doesn't want to get hit and sacked.
In the second half, Faraka's 2 out of 5 for 9 yards passing. Again, looking to throw, and that's batted down by McBride. And I think a flag was thrown somewhere in the middle.
Maybe a chop block because one of the offensive linemen was down on the ground.
59 was on the ground. Yep.
Yep, it's against Centaurus. Good call there, Coach Rohde.
And it wasn't very effective because he was still able to go up there and swat that ball down.
They're going to take the penalty, too. I think Fort Morgan wants to score one more time.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Feel better about this. 2nd down and 20 from the 10. Time for an interception here. 5 yards behind center. And this will be one of these draw plays. A wraparound handoff. It's going to be a loss back to the 8-yard line. I think that's Silver on the carry. I know there's a terminology for that wraparound. It's almost like a Statue of Liberty type of play. Loss of 1.
Yeah, Fort Morgan's defense blew that up, and Centaurus spent 30 seconds of clock time.
3rd down and 21 from the 9. Trips to the right, 2 to the left. Out of the shotgun, Faraka, 1-step drop, pressure coming, throws out to his right, complete. And then a great tackle made after a gain of 5. Andrew Monroe made the hit. And the catch was made over there by Andy Mendoza, who had a touchdown in the opening half. But that'll be 4th down and 16 to go. The Mustangs are got to get off the field. And some are getting on the field late, and now they're all set. There's a high snap. Here comes the pressure, and they get it off the side of his foot. It's going to be a very short punt. It'll bounce at the 33-yard line, take a lateral roll to about the 32. It's only a punt of 18 yards, and Fort Morgan, with 5 minutes and 23 seconds to go, has got a huge opportunity playing, Brian, with an even shorter field that they had in the 3rd quarter when they scored. I believe that was a 33-yard drive.
Yep. Yeah, they're starting now at the 30, well, at the 32. So
right, shorter field.
Yep.
So time to salt this victory away and get home, stay healthy.
Kevin Rohde always making a food reference, although probably that was, I mean, salt is a small component of it. 1st and 10 from the 32. Backs in and on. The deep back is Hamer. Has the football. And then the ball is loose on the ground. He was stripped over there. I don't know if he got the clean handoff. And Centaurus has got it. Centaurus has it at the 36-yard line. Just when you thought the Mustangs were going to easily put this away. It's recovered by Jason Tran, a 5'10", 195-pound junior. It amounted to a loss of 4 on the play. I don't know if he got the clean handoff. I think Tran came through pretty quickly.
Yeah. That was a great defensive play by the Centaurus defender there, and now Morgan's defense has to hold again.
As you said, nothing's come easy this season.
Well, they're losing the turnover battle tonight. And however, the biggest turnover of the game was on the strip sack of the end zone that the Mustangs recovered for a touchdown. But the Mustangs have 3 turnovers in the game, 2 fumbles and an interception thrown by Linker. 1st and 10 from their own 36. Handoff right up the middle and hit at the line of scrimmage after no gain. Well, that's what the line of scrimmage is Silver. Boy, stacked up nicely by Linker. 2nd down and 10.
And I wonder how much Josh Langford's over there talking to Chisholm saying, please let me have Trey just for one series of defense, because Trey stayed out of defense the entire game.
2nd down and 10 from the pistol formation this time with 1 setback. Trips to the left. Faraka is going to hand it off again right up the gut. That's only a gain of 1. I believe that's a different back this time to the 37. It is. It's Jabez Trowell. 3rd down and 9 at the 37. I'm surprised they're not throwing the football. They're down by 14 with 4:24 to go in the game,
and they're not even in a hurry.
Well, they're up to the line of scrimmage, but you're right, they're taking time. They're looking over towards the sideline. The lone setback is Jackson Sniff on 3rd and 9. Back to throw is Faraka rolling to his right. He's got running room along the sideline, throws on the run. The pass is going to be incomplete. That's going to be interference on Hamer at the 48-yard line. He tackled the receiver, Anthony Montoya, before the ball got there. That's a good call.
And my thought, as they sat there and got ready to go and were wasting all that time, they're comfortable here being behind. With 4 minutes left, they're an 0-5 team. And that's what it takes is, to get past that is they've got to figure out how to hurry and play with some urgency. But a big mistake on defense there, or maybe not, because maybe if he caught it, he goes.
Boy, that throw was behind him, though. I think it was going to be a tough catch to be made. But either way, they're waving it off. Was the pass tipped?
No, I think it's from the line of scrimmage. They're walking it off.
But why was he was waving? Oh, okay. I didn't know why he was waving that flag like that. Yeah, that makes sense. But normally when you wave a flag, you're waving off a penalty, which wouldn't have made any sense. Nonetheless, Centaurus has it 1st and 10 for the Mustang 48-yard line. Trailing by 14. Out of the pistol. Looking, taking off with the football and being thrown down at the 49 for a loss of 1 for Rocca as he hesitated a couple of times, and Dylan McBride brought him to the ground along with James Hokenettle. No gain officially. 2nd down and 10 yards to go for Centaurus. The clock now reads 3:44 to go and running. 27-13 Fort Morgan in the 4th. Trips to the left for Rocca. 1-step drop, throws to his right, complete underneath the silver, and he's down at the 41. Andrew Monroe makes the tackle. It's a gain of about 7, but he tackled him inbounds, which keeps the clock rolling. Back up to the line of scrimmage, 3rd down and 3. Lining up along that right hash mark at the 41. Sniff again, the lone setback. Yeah, they look over to the sideline again for those play instructions. Awaiting the snap. For Rocca, play action, looking to throw. Pressure coming. Tolson nearly had him. Rolls to his right. Throws along the sideline. Tipped incomplete. Oh boy, that was nearly intercepted there. A couple of Mustangs collided, but everybody's okay as Monroe gets up off the turf at the 27. 4th down, and this is the game here for Centaurus.
Yep. Yeah, good defensive pressure that time. They made Faraka roll out, and there wasn't anything there. He tried to get it downfield, but it was broken up.
4th down and 3 from the Mustang 41-yard line. Inside of 3 minutes to go. They've got 2 timeouts remaining. They called that timeout on defense earlier in this half. Faraka throws to his right. Pass is caught. 1st down. Across the 35 to the 32. It's a pickup of 9. And that was caught by Andy Mendoza. Boy, that's some loose coverage there. I mean, he was wide open underneath on a 4th and 3, and they keep the drive going. 2 receivers split each side. Faraka out of the pistol with 1 setback. Clock is moving. That's the advantage the Mustangs have. Well, no, it's actually stopped.
Should be running.
Should be running.
No, but it wasn't. They've done that. The slant's incomplete to Silver.
Yeah, they ran 2 seconds off.
Yeah, well, like I said, the management of the clock here, not by the teams, but by the operators, been questionable at times. 2nd down and 10 to go for Centaurus with a football at the Mustang 32. The Mustangs have 2 touchdowns in the second half. Back to throw for Rocca, out to his left, wide open and dropped at the 25-yard line. And that was wide open, but dropped over there by Mendoza. 3rd down.
Yeah, that's when you gotta pull in, especially when you're down 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter.
As I was saying earlier, there's a reason that they're 0-5. Nothing against Centaurus or the players, but if you don't make those kind of plays on a regular basis, you're going to lose ball games.
They do have talent, but you're right about that, Kevin. On 3rd down, rolling left, setting up, throwing along the left side, incomplete. We do have a flag down. I wonder if James Hokenettle was held. And he was. And they're going to decline that. And the receiver was breaking the other way.
Actually could have had a offensive pass interference, it looked like, over there on that receiver over there. He pushed that the defender to the ground, but the pass came up short.
For Rocca in this half is 4 out of 11 for 30 yards. Well, he's going to need at least 10 yards to extend the drive. This is definitely the game once again for Centaurus. 2:38 to go. They trail 27-13. 4th and 10 from the Mustang 32. Trips to the left. 1 man to the right out of the pistol with 1 setback. Mustangs are coming with pressure. Back to throw. The shovel pass is nearly intercepted by McBride and broken up right there at the 35, intended for Silver. It'll be Mustang football, and all you have to do is one thing.
Run the football.
Hold on to the football. Wow, that's, you're right. I mean, that too, but you got to hold on.
Yeah, hold on to it.
They're showing the Centaurus Warriors still with 3 timeouts. I think that was an official's timeout down here earlier for the measure. So, we've got to get at least 1 first down. I think if we get 1 first down, maybe 2, and it'll be done.
1st and 10 from the 37 for the Mustangs. Make it the 32, excuse me. Jacob Ortega is the D-back. He does have game-breaking speed. He has the football off right tackle, and he's hit at the 32, but then he lunges to the 35, maybe to the 36. He took 1 big hit there. He gained 4 yards, and he had both arms wrapped around the football. That's only his 5th carry.
And no timeout by Centaurus.
For 20 yards. Well, I thought they only had 2 left, but we'll see.
Doesn't matter how many they have if they don't use them.
Yeah, I bet they'll use them now, unless Fort Morgan picks up a first down.
You're going to let them run off 35 seconds?
2nd down and 6 to go for the Mustangs at their own 36-yard line. Backs in an eye. Hocanedo and Ortega. Linker is going to hand it off to Hocanedo. Breaks out of a tackle, and he's across the 35 to about the 39. Now the timeout is called by Centaurus. I think they only had 2 timeouts. Remember, the clock operator could be the same one operating the timeout board, all right? I mean, I'm not trying to be
That's very true.
Smart aleck here, but it wouldn't surprise me. So anyway, that gain is 3 yards for Hocanedo. It'll be 3rd down and about 3 yards to go. We got 1.5 minutes to go, 90 seconds to go in the game. And Fort Morgan with a 2-touchdown lead. All right, time to tell you that for a college that will equip you to go anywhere, look no further than Northeastern. Go to njc.edu and make Stubbs Gas and Oil your next stop heading out of town. You can visit. During your visit, you can gas up your vehicle, sit down to lunch, get snacks and your hunting and fishing licenses. Find everything you need at low prices. Stubbs Gas and Oil in Wiggins.
Put, what, 6 seconds back on the clock?
Who knows?
Like that's what they should take about 1:30 off to make it about right for what they did before.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on up there. It's 3rd down and 3 from the 39-yard line. It's new math. It's whatever we wanted up there. Backs at an eye. Let's just get a first down and get out of here. And the Mustangs come away with a 2-touchdown victory. Linker hands off right side, not Baez. He's short of a first down as his right knee was down at the 40. There's a timeout. That's got to be the final timeout taken by Centaurus. That's the first carry of the game for Danny Narvaez. And the punting unit will be out there on 4th and 2 from their own 40. Let's see. Now it's 1:30 to go. Let's see if they add time.
It's this is where they ran the ball but couldn't get it effectively. Didn't have McBride in there. So I figure there's no use giving him a chance to get hurt when they're still up 2 touchdowns with 1:30 left in the game.
Well, the only shot that they've got here, and that's talking about Centaurus, they've got to come with some massive pressure right now. They have to try and block. If they don't block the punt, this game is virtually over. To score 2 touchdowns is going to be almost impossible. Garcia standing at his own 24. They have 10 up at the line of scrimmage. It's short hop. He's got to get it off, and he does. And then Garcia goes down. It's fielded at the 27. Running to his left is Montoya across the 30 and down at the 35-yard line. Boy, that was a shortstop scoop there by Luis Garcia as McBride was down there on special teams with Ortega to make the hit. And McBride limping off the field a bit.
Surprised they got him out there right now. If he didn't have him out there on the offense, I'm surprised out there on the special teams.
1st and 10 for Centaurus at the 36-yard line. 1:20 to go in the game. Fort Morgan leads 27-13. Well, they were speeding up the second half, but all of a sudden, it's slowed down here in the 4th. All right, naked backfield. 4 yards behind center. Faraka waiting the direct snap with trips to the right. 2-step drop, throws out to his left. That's complete underneath across the 40. Breaking a tackle, the ball is loose and fumbled, and it's picked up by Donovan Moya at the 40-yard line. Along the right sideline, he's down at the 30, and the Mustangs come up with a big turnover. The pass was complete to Anthony Montoya. It was an 8-yard pickup to Montoya, but then it was stripped away, and Moya recovers the fumble, and the Mustangs have sealed the win in Lafayette.
What a great defensive play to bobble that and eventually pull that in and then you add some yardage to it.
A return of about 15 yards, or 14 to the 31. And the Mustangs will be in victory formation with just 1 minute and 9 seconds to go. They've got to take a couple of snaps, and they will seal the deal here in Lafayette. And Linker will take a knee. It'll be second down, and no, that was another timeout. You're right, Kevin. They did have 3 timeouts, so my apologies, thinking that there might have been an error on the board. But I tell you what, I really want to say something because they're in victory formation.
Right.
All right, call a timeout now, but what's the use?
Yeah. Well,
I did say something. I just couldn't hold back. I mean, come on. You're going to go in victory formation twice. You're not going to get the ball back unless Fort Morgan fumbles it on the snap, but they've got 3 guys right behind Linker,
right,
and they're snapping it slowly. Anyway, I mean, the game is over.
Yeah. I guess my thoughts are, from the minute we got here, the words of Jerry Garcia, what a strange trip this has been. It's just a weird night. 3 blocking, running in the punter, the fumbles, the mistakes, the clock operator.
Right. But I think the weird night was more reserved for the first half than the second half.
Yeah.
Second half was more conventional. All right, well, there's the knee again. See, I know that usually in football, the etiquette is if a team goes into victory formation and you have a timeout remaining or 2, don't call it. The game's already over. You're down by 2 touchdowns. They can't call a timeout now. You've got 48 seconds to go. The Mustangs only need to take 1 more snap. It's third down at about 12 at the 33-yard line.
Plus the etiquette is that you don't try and fire through the line and hit anyone. And
right,
and they're acting like they're wanting to.
Right, and exactly. And that should be it. With 25 seconds to go. Yep, that's it. The Fort Morgan Mustangs have come to Lafayette and snapped a 3-game losing streak, defeating the Centaurus Warriors 27-13 on Morgan County's B106 and B106.net. All right, the Mustang post-game show is brought to you by Morgan Community College. Find out why Morgan Community College is the best choice for your higher education. Visit MCC online at morgancc.edu or stop by the campus for a personal advising session. MCC, here to help you imagine, believe, and achieve your goals. That's Morgan Community College. John Beltran back with Brian Nickel and Kevin Rohde on homecoming night in Lafayette. The Mustangs got the job done in the second half. They were down 6-0, down 13-6, tied at 13 at the break, but they win 27-13, thanks in part to a big second half, especially with that running game. I mean, they changed everything philosophically from the offensive standpoint. Trey McBride scored from 8 yards out. Isaac Linker scored from a yard away, and the Mustangs did the job on defense, but certainly, as Kevin mentioned during the fourth quarter, during the waning moments, a little bit of a weird game, but less weird in the second half than the first half, Kevin, because we saw more typical as opposed to atypical Mustang football.
Right. And I think you look at the first half of the season and see the teams that Fort Morgan played and how, with the injuries and everything, Fort Morgan had to get away from their typical game plan and had to throw. And they came in here kind of with that same mindset that, well, let's keep developing what's been working for us. Well, Centaurus took that away, and we had to come back second half and basically play some 4 yards in a cloud of dust type football.
Brian, I think you said on probably 3 or 4 occasions repeatedly, this is what we've been waiting for in the second half, because they kept doing it, but they kept being successful with that ground game.
Yeah, they finally got it going there in the second half with Trey McBride. That he just made all the difference here in this game, especially in the second half. They used him very little in that first half, but in that second half they used him in that tailback position, and he just ate up the yards. Good blocking up front, and he also was dragging a lot of defenders. Once he was initially hit, he was getting another 4 or 5 yards and more here in the second half.
If you're joining us now, we're also on Facebook Live on our B106 Facebook page, on Facebook Live as we are before the game and after most of these games, as the Mustangs snapped a 3-game losing streak with a 27-13 victory. Didn't look early when Centaurus drove right down the field, 70 yards. They were able to score a touchdown, and then it was the Mustang defense that turned it around on a strip sack. Bobby Tolson recovered the fumble in the end zone. PAT was no good, but then the 12-yard pass there to Mendoza gave them a 13-6 lead before Fort Morgan tied the game right before the break, or not just before the break. They had some time remaining. In fact, they could have probably scored again, as Trey McBride did have a big night with a couple of touchdowns, but that was obviously a big score that they needed before halftime. But in the second half, boy, time of possession. I mean, they on the drive they scored, that was almost 3/4 of a quarter. And here's the deal, Kevin. Fort Morgan threw just one pass in the second half. It's going to be harder to do against superior opponents, but I mean, they accomplished what they had to do, and the coaches obviously, I mean, that's the definition of an adjustment.
Right. And I think the key there is that they gained some confidence for the linemen, for the offense, and for the whole team going into next week. Because they could have struggled and maybe still won this game by a touchdown or a point or two. But coming out here, establishing dominance, and kind of goes a long ways towards building that confidence back for the Mustangs.
Brian, before I look at the individual stats, let's look back at your pregame nickel package, because by the time we got to halftime, they weren't meeting a lot of those elements in the nickel package, and I think it certainly turned around in the second half.
Yeah, it came out a lot better in the second half. Had run game, and that produced. That was, that's what won them the game here in the second half.
And that was your number one.
That's right. Number two was cut down on penalties. And I believe they had a clean second half as far as penalties are concerned, so we did good there.
Outside of the pass interference, but everything else was very good.
Right. Number three was put pressure on their quarterback. They really didn't have much of a chance. And when they did have the ball, they were running the ball. They really got away from their passing game. Number four was put Trey to work, and they put him to work in the second half big time. He's what a difference he is. He's a difference maker in the game, that's for sure. And then the fifth one was get up on them early, and
happened in the second half.
Second half it happened, not in the first half.
No,
it was a tough struggle that first half, but it looked more like Mustang football in that second half.
All right, statistically, let's look at some of the numbers here, because Fort Morgan was a different team on the ground. First of all, at the break, 13 carries for 37 yards for Centaurus. By the end of the game, they had 24 carries for 38 yards. I mean, the Mustang defense was outstanding there in the second half. At the break, Nick Farraca was 16 out of 27 for 166 yards. And in the second half, Farraca threw for just 38 yards. I mean, that was it. He was 4 out of 13 for 38 yards, so he ended up with 204 yards in the game. The leading receiver, by the way, was Andy Mendoza. He had 7 catches in the contest for 55 yards, so only about 7 or 8 yards a catch. Now for the Mustangs, through the air, Isaac Linker was only 6 out of 14 for 51 yards, but again, he completed the one pass he threw in the second half. Now on the ground, Linker, 9 carries for 35 yards. Jacob Ortega, 5 for 20. Trey McBride had 20 carries unofficially for 113 yards. John Hokenedel had 8 for 31. J.P. Hamer with 6 carries for 38 yards. Donovan Moya had 2 for 2, and Dylan McBride had 3 carries for 13 yards. So doing the very quick math here, the Mustangs on the ground unofficially picked up 252 yards in the game. Remember we said at halftime, Kevin, when they had about 79, and Brian mentioned that Centaurus had been allowing an average of 374. Fort Morgan would have to get about 300 yards in the second half. Well, they didn't, but, I mean, they picked up about 170, 180 yards because they changed everything philosophically. Now the question is, do they have that confidence going into Silver Creek? Because that's a much better team, and they're playing that game at home, and we'll certainly find out. But anyway, all right, let's get to the Mustang player of the game. which is brought to you by Transwest Chevrolet Buick, serving Northeast Colorado and located in Fort Morgan and Sterling. They got a great selection of new and used vehicles. Stop by and take a test drive. Transwest Chevrolet Buick. Is this a mystery at all, or do we know who the?
I would say it would be Trey McBride.
Okay, I'm 2 for 2. Captain, you want to go the other way just to be a contrarian?
I was trying to be some humorous way of saying the return of.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, I'll add a word there. The triumphant return.
Yes.
But by the way, I stole that from several other cliches. Triumphant return. I couldn't say it the second time like I did the first time of Trey McBride. He had 2 touchdowns in the game, and he was. He was certainly outstanding. Scored the game-winning touchdown from 8 yards away in the third quarter, as McBride tonight had 20 carries for 113 yards. Unofficially, Centaurus drops to 0-6, and Fort Morgan moves to 3-3 on the season. We'll be back at it next Friday when they take on the Silver Creek Raptors. Outstanding job by Emily, our sound engineer and producer tonight. For Kevin Rohde and Brian Nickel, I'm John Beltran. The final score from Lafayette, where the Fort Morgan Mustangs defeat the Centaurus Warriors 27-13 on Facebook Live, Morgan County's B106 and B106.net.